Let's set the scene. It's like something out of a financial thriller. The year is 2026, and a truth the entire world has tried to ignore for decades has finally come home to roost. And right at the heart of it all, one single, shocking number.
Okay, so picture this. January 2026. Gold, that thing people call a barbaric relic, doesn't just nudge past a record. No, it completely shatters the psychological ceiling, blasting towards $5,000 an ounce. This isn't just a blip on the screen, folks. This is a 5-alarm fire for the global economy.
So, that's the big mystery we're diving into, right? What in the world is going on here? Is this just another gold rush, a speculative fever driven by pure greed, or is this the final, cracking sound of the entire monetary system breaking down for good?
To get to the bottom of this, we've got to rewind the tape a bit. We need to look at the evidence, the breadcrumbs of chaos that led us to this exact moment. The source material uses this fantastic analogy. Think of the global economy as this massive ship. For years, it's been running on an engine powered by nothing but debt. And now, well, that engine is smoking, it's sputtering, it's about to die. And the captains, our central banks, they seem busy printing brand new instruction manuals instead of actually fixing the engine. In a situation like that, gold stops being a safe asset. It becomes the only lifeboat. And everyone, everyone, is scrambling to get on board. So what's at the heart of all this panic? Well, it's this number, $38 trillion. By 2025, that was the U.S. national debt. It's a figure that's so big, it's almost meaningless. It stopped feeling like a balance sheet and started feeling like a ticking time bomb.
And then, just to make things worse, the whole system it ground to a halt. The 2025 government shutdown went on for a historic 43 days. It created what they called a data blackout. No official economic numbers were coming out. So in this fog of uncertainty, investors did what you'd expect. They panicked. When you can't trust the official numbers, what do you trust? For a lot of people, the answer was gold.
Okay, so that's the setup. But how does that simmering panic turn into a $5,000 price tag? Let's break down the anatomy of this historic rally, piece by piece.
You can really see the story unfold here. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and faster. You see the pandemic stimulus keeping things warm. Then in 2024, the central banks start buying, and geopolitics gives it a 31% kick. But look at 2025, a whopping 65% jump, all thanks to that U.S. debt crisis. By the time we hit January 2026, the fuse is lit, and it's just pure, all-out panic buying. For as long as anyone can remember, there was this one simple rule for gold. You can think of it like a seesaw. When interest rates went up, making things like bonds look really good, gold was supposed to go down. Simple, right? It was practically a law of nature in finance.
And then, in 2025, the unthinkable happened. The seesaw snapped in half. The Fed was jacking up interest rates, but gold was also going up. This decoupling sent a shockwave through the markets. It was a giant red flag that investors no longer believed in the system. They realized the debt was so huge that the government couldn't handle high rates without going broke. Gold wasn't just an investment anymore, it became a bet against the system itself.
So the Fed was basically caught in a trap, right? A 4-step dance to disaster they couldn't avoid. Step 1, keep rates high to fight inflation. Step 2, realize those high rates are suffocating the government. Step 3, panic and pivot, slashing rates to save the day. And step 4, bam, the final safety brake on gold is gone and the price just goes vertical.
Okay, so this sets up the big showdown, the great debate that's tearing Wall Street apart. Is this a bubble that's going to pop spectacularly, or is this the new reality we all have to live with?
So in one corner, you've got Team Bubble. Their argument is, come on people, we've seen this movie before. They point way back to the Dutch tulip craze of the 1600s. They say this is just classic fear of missing out, FOMO, and retail panic. And they warn that as soon as the music stops, gold is coming crashing down.
But in the other corner, Team New Reality comes back with a haymaker. They say, hold on a second, you're comparing an indestructible element to a flower? And then they hit him with the big one. Look who's buying this time. It's not your average Joe. It's the central banks of major world powers.
And when you put them side by side like this, the difference is it's night and day, isn't it? The tulip mania was retail speculators chasing a trend. It had zero intrinsic value. The 2026 gold rally, it's driven by nations buying a real, physical asset because they're worried about the entire system collapsing. One is about fashion, the other is about survival.
But wait, there's more. This wasn't just happening in a financial vacuum. There were a few other major players that came along and basically poured jet fuel on this raging fire.
Right, so if the debt crisis was the engine sputtering, geopolitics was the turbocharger. The world was just messy. Conflicts everywhere, major powers facing off, and you know what loves chaos and uncertainty? Gold. Fear became the #1 commodity on the market.
And get this, it wasn't just gold getting all the attention. Silver, its less famous cousin, had an even crazier year, jumping a staggering 147%. Why? It's like investors suddenly remembered, hey, silver isn't just shiny, we actually need it for things like solar panels and AI. So when gold got too pricey for the average person, guess where they rushed next?
Okay, but this next piece might be the real knockout punch to the old financial order. It's called the unit. It's a new currency project from the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and their allies. And the key part? It's backed by 40% physical gold. For the first time in generations, there was a real, credible, asset-backed alternative to the US dollar. This was an absolute game changer.
So, let's pull it all together. You've got insane debt, broken financial rules, global chaos, and a brand new challenger currency. Where does that leave us? What's the final verdict here? Bubble or new reality? The conclusion from the source material is pretty definitive. This isn't a bubble, it's a paradigm shift. And it comes down to 3 simple, unavoidable facts. 1, the debt is just too big to ever be paid back, which means governments have to print money. 2, in a world where everyone's picking sides, gold is the only thing left that's truly neutral. And 3, for the first time in a long time, the dollar is no longer the only game in town. So in the end, that $5,000 price tag, it's not really about the value of gold. It's a measurement of how much faith the world has lost in paper money and promises. I love how the source puts this. It says the price of gold isn't a bubble. It's the price of truth in a world of financial lies. And that really leaves us with one last question to chew on, doesn't it? Maybe we're all asking the wrong thing. Maybe the question isn't, is gold too expensive? Maybe the real question we need to ask ourselves is, in a world that's being completely reset, what price do you put on your own security?
Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment with any topic you'd like us to talk about in future videos, and don't forget to hit the like button.